Getting some big breaking developments, in fact, now coming in on the broadcast as well. It is now confirmed Prime Minister Modi will be receiving President Putin at the Palam airport. They're likely to travel straight to Prime Minister Modi's residence from the airport in the same vehicle, in the same car. Brian Thomas is at Prime Minister Modi's residence. Brian, has the Prime Minister departed for Palam airport? What's the latest you can share with us? And now it is confirmed that PM Modi will be at the airport to personally receive Vladimir Putin in a very special gesture. Also, we're learning that they will travel back from the airport to PM's residence in the same vehicle together, as we saw in China not too long back when the two leaders rode together for 45 minutes.
Well, Uday, yes, clearly it is confirmed. And right now, yes, the latest information that goes from here, from outside PM's residence, PM has left to receive President Putin. He has taken the route towards ITC Moria, where the Russian president is also staying itself. Clearly, so he passed through ITC Moria, and within 10-15 minutes, he will be reaching AFS Palam airport, and then from there, he will be receiving Russian President Vladimir Putin. They will be taking the same vehicle, they will be sharing the same vehicle towards here from the Palam airport. They will be straightly coming to this LKM 7, LKM 7. Will be having a private informal conversation that is gradually lead up to that will take 8:30 itself. So clearly the biggest information that goes from here is the fact that the Prime Minister has left from his residence just a while back. He has crossed the ITC Moria. He has crossed the ITC Moria, and within 10 to 15 minutes, we will be seeing him going there, receiving the Russian president. Now, as per the earlier, protocol that it was said, it was going. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar was supposed to go and receive, but there was a last-minute change of plan, and then the Prime Minister himself personally decided to go and receive the Russian President Vladimir Putin. And right now he's on his way. He's en route to AFS Palam airport. Then there he will be receiving the Russian president. Yes, and they will be sharing the same vehicle towards this very place, that is the 7 LKM. Yes,
absolutely. Pathikrit Pine, let me rope you in here. Pathikrit, these gestures say a lot, don't they? Prime Minister Modi going personally to the Palam airport to receive Vladimir Putin. The fact that they will travel back together to the PM's residence, where the PM will be hosting the Russian president this evening for a welcome private dinner, says a lot as well, doesn't it? These gestures, these optics do say a lot in diplomacy as well, don't they, Pathikrit?
Uday, first and foremost, the relationship between India and Russia is not just a government-to-government relation, it's a people-to-people relation. And we must remember these are two civilizational nation states. So, and invariably, we have seen that through thick and thin, starting from the 1971 war for the liberation of Bangladesh, we know what role Russia played, Soviet Union then, and the kind of role that was played by United States. Even though it's a strategic partner of India, we do not deny that. So I think, see, there are issues, there are challenges, but in spite of that, I think Russia has been with India through thick and thin, and India would not forget that. Even though I understand the West has a tendency to denigrate and mock, the Russian weapon systems, but every time we had a conflict with the Pakistanis, it is the Russian weapon systems which have actually had an edge, often against the Pakistani weapon systems which are of Western origin. But nevertheless, the relationship between Russia and India is not a transactional relationship. It is not about the number of billions of dollars that we spend to buy Russian weapon systems, but it is about standing by India against all odds whenever the need be, and vice versa. So yes, there are challenging times that India is going through. There have been some extremely unceremonial, unparliamentary languages used against India from the West, even to the extent that President Trump called India a dead economy. We know the kind of threats, challenges Russia is facing, and we do agree with Russia that the expansion of NATO must stop. So I think countries of Global South, other countries have the right to decide what is good for them. United States is a very important partner for India, just as India does not allow Russia or anyone else to decide how India's relation with United States or the West should be. Similarly, India does not allow the West to dictate as to how India's relation with Russia should be. And that is how mature nations behave.
And we're seeing visuals now on our screens. This is Prime Minister Modi's convoy en route to Palam Airport. Prime Minister Modi's convoy has, of course, left 7 LKM, as our reporter just confirmed a few minutes ago, and now is en route to Palam Airport. That was Prime Minister Narendra Modi's convoy leaving for, of course, Palam Airport. That Sardar Patel mark we can see on our screens. Brian Thomas is with us live from outside 7 LKM. Brian, the Prime Minister is en route to Palam Airport as we speak. Okay, we've lost our reporter. Andrew Latham, let me rope you in here. Andrew, these small, things say a lot in foreign policy and diplomacy. It's not everyone that a head of state goes to receive personally at the airport, but Prime Minister Narendra Modi going personally to the Delhi airport to receive the Russian president. We are told also the two will travel back together in the same vehicle. How do you interpret this? Being a professor of international relations, you know how these things work. How important, special is this gesture, this moment, Andrew?
Well, it's a clear gesture, especially because it was at the last minute that the specific optics were decided upon. That was breaking news. And it's a clear signal on the part of Prime Minister Modi that India's grand strategic vision of strategic autonomy and multi-alignment, etc., is alive and well. And that whatever President Trump's views, predispositions, or prejudices, India is going to pursue its own national interest. And if that national interest involves a certain kind of relationship, economic, military, diplomatic, with Russia, then that's going to be the case. And this is a very clear signal, not just to the Russians, not just to the Indian population, but to the United States government as well, and President Trump in particular. We are our own nation. We will pursue our own interests as we understand them. And if that involves a state visit, the first since the war with Ukraine broke out, on the part of Vladimir Putin to India, then that's going to be something, not just it's going to happen. It's going to be celebrated. It's going to be high profile. Very clear diplomatic signaling here.
Yes, Brian Thomas is back with us on the broadcast. Our correspondent is live at the Prime Minister's residence. Brian, PM Modi en route to Palam Airport as we speak. We can see his convoy on our screens. They've just crossed Sardar Patel Marg a short while back. And now we're getting live visuals also from the Palam Airport. It's going to be a Tri-Services Guard of Honor that will be accorded as well to Vladimir Putin. So a complete red carpet welcome for the Russian president, Brian Thomas.
Oh, well, clearly, yes. Clearly, as of now, a tri-service welcome, a guard of honor will be given to Vladimir Putin, and clearly a very personal message also that goes from India's side that, yes, it is a growing partnership between both India and Russia itself, because clearly, as per the last protocol, the previous protocol, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar was supposed to go and visit and receive Vladimir Putin, but clearly there was a change of plan, because then the Prime Minister himself decided that he would be going, he would be personally going and accompanying and receiving Vladimir Putin itself. Clearly, so yes, this marks a major step towards a strengthening partnership between both India and Russia. And yes, very rightly mentioned, visuals are on screen where the Prime Minister has left towards Palam Airport, and then there will be a guard of honor given to Vladimir Putin. Tri-services have also been there itself. So clearly a major red carpet welcome, a major welcome to welcome the Russian president itself, clearly in the national capital, and then from there they will be sharing the same vehicle, they will be sharing the same car, and will be driving here till the 7 LKM where they will be having a private dinner. Yes.
What time exactly is the Russian president expected to arrive, to touch down at Palam Airport? We can see the live visuals of Palam Airport on our screens and the tarmac there. What exact time is his aircraft expected to arrive, Brian? I think it takes about roughly 15 to 20 minutes for the PM to reach the airport. So he would be reaching any moment now as well.
Well, less than that, Uday. Less than that. Clearly, the time that has been given itself, 6:45 was the time given. So it is subjected to change. But yes, as we are hoping itself, the aircraft of Russian president is going to touch down at around in around 5 to 10 minutes as we are speaking itself. And clearly, in another 5 to 10 minutes, again, the Prime Minister will also be reaching. And then the Guard of Honor will be taking place itself there. The tri-services have been there. And clearly from there, after the Guard of Honor, after the red carpet welcome itself, they will be coming towards, in the same car, they will be coming and there will be conversations itself. There will be conversation in the car itself because it is a 15-20 minutes drive from AFS Palam to 7 LKM itself. And then post that, they will be having an informal dinner and then a conversation or informal conversation that will be taking place that will span up to 8:39 p.m. So clearly within, it's 6:40 now, so within 5 to 10 minutes, we are anticipating that the aircraft will touch down AFS Palam Airport in just now 5 to 10 minutes. Yes.
All right, let me also rope in Surinder Singh Lali into the conversation now. Surinder Singh Lali, this is, of course, a much awaited, much anticipated visit by Vladimir Putin to India. The India-Russia annual summit will be happening, of course, tomorrow. A lot will be on the table. But today, of course, is a day of camaraderie, of strengthening bonds, of the optics, and which is why we're seeing the kind of welcome being accorded to Vladimir Putin. This says a lot about the current state of India-Russia relations. This also says a lot about the personal bond between Narendra Modi and Vladimir Putin, which has defined and strengthened the Indo-Russia relationship over the last decade. Surinder Lal.
Thank you. Uday, you use a lot of fantastic adjectives. I think if I may take the liberty of adding the word reliability, especially given the way Trump 2.0 has virtually inflicted an economic war on India, I don't think I'll be out of place. So this is the new polycentric world order, which probably Donald Trump is not able to accept. But I'll have to agree with Mr. Pine also that we need both Russia and United States of America, because it's not as simple as one aspect. We have to counter China, to lack of a better expression. So we need to have both America and Russia on either side, because otherwise, China is not an easy cookie to control, with the way we've had quite a hot border with them too. And now what Trump 2.0 has done, he's actually brought China and Russia much more closer. So we are probably on the right side, because we've had a very long, reliable relationship with Russia. And the way things are paying out, I think it is paying dividends now. And as our foreign minister has been always saying, that we never wanted to be a part of their wars that are post-Second World War and the Cold Wars. So I think even Donald Trump's, what he calls tariffs, I call them sanctions, are also kind of backfiring. So Uday, the jury's out on this one, but I think we're on a very, very safe wicket, if I can use my cricket terminology, that we and India and Russia have had a very long, consistent relationship. While Andrew made some fantastic points about the superiority of American equipment, but what good are they if we have an unreliable individual as Donald Trump at the White House, and the technology transfer is not going to take place today? Thank you.
Joyita Basu, editor of the Sunday Guardian, also is joining us live. In fact, now, Joyita, the Russian president expected to arrive any moment now. We're seeing these visuals, of course, from the tarmac. Guard of honor will be accorded to him. Also, Prime Minister Modi's gesture of reaching the airport as well. How do you interpret this? The two will also be sharing a vehicle back to 7 LKM. It's a deja vu of what we saw in China, on the sidelines of the SCO just a few weeks ago.
Well, Uday, first of all, I think I would rather temper down the excitement a bit. In fact, not a bit, I would take it down by several notches. Let's not forget that this is how Mr. Modi has been treating world leaders, be it, say, when Biden had come, even when Trump had come earlier, even when Putin also, for that matter, Barack Obama, Emmanuel Macron, whoever has come to India for a state visit, he has been the first one to go to the tarmac and inviting, I mean open arms, he has been hugging these world leaders and he has been welcoming them to India. So, nothing, I mean nothing fantastic or fancy about that, number one. Number two, of course, we are talking about India-Russia relations goes back decades, it is an important relationship, but it cannot be you have been had a bad relationship with the US, so now I am going totally towards Russia. It cannot be, I mean relations, international relations do not work like that. I am sulking at the US, so oh my God, I am loving Russia so much. Sorry, it is not like that. And there is no doubt Russia has been a great partner for us, there is no doubt, but there is also that niggling little detail about the pragmatism when it comes to it. And what does pragmatism tell us? And what we have been talking about, our diplomats have been talking about, we cannot afford to alienate Russia and have two big powers in our neighborhood as our enemy, with Pakistan right next to us. We have been trying very hard also to make certain that Pakistan and Russia, they do not come together. And you see, when it comes to big power relations, when it comes to strategic relationship, nothing works on emotions, number one. It is all about your own interests and whichever country can serve your interests, and obviously to that extent that other countries' interest also will have to be served. So, at that same time, when we are talking about what exactly is the message that has been coming from Russia throughout, that we should have an RIC, RIC, RIC. But the problem that the Russians have been creating is that for us, we are not willing to become a China's vassal state, but when it comes to Russia, it has become China's vassal state. So, as a result of it, and the whole point, the idea is that…
We are also seeing visuals now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, visuals coming in of PM Modi. He has arrived there at the Palam airport in Delhi. Prime Minister Modi has reached the airport. He will be receiving the Russian President imminently. The Russian President's aircraft is expected to touch down very, very shortly there. And we are seeing already PM Modi on the tarmac. Of course, he is going to go into that VIP lounge to await now the arrival of the Russian President. So, PM Modi, breaking visuals coming in, has arrived at the Palam airport. An extremely special gesture accorded, of course, to only special visiting dignitaries with whom India has a strong strategic partnership, Russia, of course, amongst them. PM Modi has arrived there at the Palam airport to welcome the Russian President. So, PM Modi, of course, reaching the Palam airport. We're expecting the Russian President to also arrive very, very shortly. Vladimir Putin's aircraft expected to arrive in a few moments from now. Also, of course, a guard of honor will be accorded to him. It's a red carpet welcome that awaits the Russian President in India. We've already, of course, seen the welcome accorded to, of course, his defense minister earlier in the day, preceding that strategic and security dialogue with India and Russia, of course, and Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, of course, welcoming him as well. But PM Modi is also expected to travel in the same vehicle to his residence of 7 LKM, where he will be hosting the Russian President for dinner tonight as well. The first meeting of the two will be taking place at the airport itself in a few moments from now. Yes, Joyita. Also, of course, today is about optics. Today is, of course, about camaraderie. Today is, of course, about the welcome. Today is, of course, about the first conversation that the two will have in the car and then at PM's residence. But also, then tomorrow will be that all-important summit where defense, energy, trade, these will all be important issues on the table.
Uday, of course, this is all about optics. You are absolutely right. This is all about optics. And what is most interesting is that the visit that Putin had 4 years back did not generate even 10% of the buzz that it has happened this time. And this is primarily because of Donald Trump. This is primarily Donald Trump's doing. Okay. And the thing is, you see, but at the same time, when you are talking about defense deals and all, let's not forget one thing. Over the last 10 years, India has reduced its dependence on Russian arms from 60% to 36%. I'm certain Russia would like to get back to a situation where we go back to having dependence on 80% like Pakistan has on, dependence on China. But India is not going to commit that same mistake again, because there is supply chain disruption that is taking place already, because Russia is not being able to supply us a lot of things, particularly spare parts. So let's not get carried away by this, number one. And all this talk about Su-57, for God's sake, let's not forget that India itself rejected the Su-57 in 2018 or 19 because it found it to be unreliable. It found it to be, it did not have the F-35 stealth capabilities. So what are we even talking about? Even now, I mean, now the talk is about as a stopgap arrangement, we are going to get about 7 squadrons of Su-57. Sorry, what we are focusing on is indigenous aircraft. I mean, why should we put our eggs in one basket when we have already started diversifying, when we have already started manufacturing at home? Why are we going to go back to being so dependent on Russian arms again? We have really, with a great deal of effort, we have brought that aspect down. So, as I am saying, it's a beautiful relationship in terms of, what they have helped us in the past, the transfer of technology that mattered. But when it comes to international relations, people do not go by emotions. It is about what
Okay,
serves
Patikrit
your
Pine has an
interest.
alternate view. Patikrit Pine has an alternate view. Patikrit, go ahead. Even as we await now the imminent arrival of Vladimir Putin, we are seeing these live visuals coming in from the Delhi airport. Prime Minister Modi has reached there. He is, of course, awaiting the touchdown of the Russian president's aircraft. Patikrit.
Yeah, Uday, I mean, with the highest of respect to Jyotiraj, I think we are jumping to the conclusions. I think India is not saying that we are going to have everything from Russia and will not do anything, indigenize the process. I think there are situations, I know pretty well what's happening with the indigenized fifth generation aircraft. It's going to take 15 years time to come. In these 15 years, what are we going to do? Are we going to fight with the MiG-21s and the Tejas, whose delivery itself is a problem with the GE engine? So there are realities, and I don't think India has ever said that we are going to go back to the dependence of the Russians. When it comes to negotiations, it is negotiations. There will be hard, negotiations by India also when it comes to weapon systems. But yes, let me put it, when it comes to our assault rifles, AK-203, it is being manufactured in India under joint production. More than 600,000 will be manufactured in India. The BrahMos itself has been a very successful one. So let's not presume things. Nobody is saying that just because the Americans are a little unhappy with us, we are getting gung-ho with the Russians. I think we all know what it is. The fact is this, that there is a people-to-people connect that is there. It is there for the people. It is there. Our previous generation also do realize, and they are the ones who have passed on the legacy, that when it comes to international affairs, come what may, Russia beyond a point never betrays. That nobody can take away, nobody. The fact is that we also know that America is a very, very important partner. Has India ever said that we are going to go all across, put all the eggs in one basket? No. But at the same time, when it comes to multilateral institutions, we need reforms that the West is, resisting. When it comes to issues of using dollar for sanctions, using SWIFT, weaponization of dollar, weaponization sanctions, these are issues. And that is where we have a common ground with Russia. Doesn't mean that we are going to be a lackey of China. There are certain areas where you have convergence, there are areas of divergence, and there are areas of status quo.
Right. We're seeing more pictures coming in. Live pictures from the Delhi airport. Russian President Vladimir Putin expected any moment now. Live pictures emerging from the Delhi airport. The Russian officials have also now reached the Palam airport.
Uday, can I make a point? My point is that Russia without the Chinese baggage can be a good friend, great friend, whatever. But the problem is that the Chinese baggage is a reality. You talk to any Russian, you talk to anybody aligned with Russia, they will keep on telling you, you have to make peace with China.
Right. Major General J.K. Bansal is also the problem. Major General J.K. Bansal is also continuing to be with us. Major General Bansal, Prime Minister Modi has arrived at the airport already in Palam. We are awaiting the Russian president's arrival as well. That's going to happen any moment now. These are live pictures coming in. We are, of course, tracking this story very, very closely, breaking all the visuals for our viewers. First and exclusive right here on Newsx. What does this gesture mean to you, Major General Bansal? What does this welcome really say about the camaraderie between Modi and Putin, a friendship that has defined the Russian-India partnership over the last decade? And also, today evening is going to be about bonhomie. Today evening is going to be about setting the stage for tomorrow.
You see, it has been told earlier also, the Prime Minister Modi has got this kind of equation of many head of the state, but there's a special relation with Mr. Putin. If we have seen that when our Prime Minister was in Russia, Putin drove a cart himself and took Prime Minister Modi with him. So that kind of, and they were sitting in an open area on the pictures were very clear on a balcony. They were sitting, and it was an informal kind of thing going on. So there is a big relations and a good chemistry, best chemistry between the two, and the friendship is there. And of course, when it comes to the national interest or international relations or anything, it has to be done on basis of merit, not that by emotions. And as has been very rightly said by Pratik, that that for 15 years. What will we do? We have to buy the equipment and we have to buy the defense weapon. But there are the challenges with Russia. As it has been mentioned that we had given order for the 5 S-400 and only 3 unit has been supplied on, and 2 has yet to be supplied. So there are the challenges with Russia. Of course, the one thing is there that Russia does not want to be a junior partner to China. And that is why he is engaging India in a much more bigger manners, as I have told that in the Arctic also, this northern sea route, the Russia is giving preference to India as compared to China. So the international politics, the one has to really make a balance, and Russia, of course, is under pressure now because of its economy, sanction, Ukraine war, and China is supporting. China is a big economy, but India is also India is also being supported by Russia, and in that matter, this Russia has got an independent policy. They cannot be pressurized by China of what kind of relation they will have with India. So that is a very complicated process. As far as India is concerned, India is maintaining good relations with America also, and we have got the logistic exchange, the memorandum of agreement, similar. What is the we are having the reciprocal exchange of logistics. Similarly, we are having with the USA also. The India is having a very fine balance. Our diplomacy, our external affairs ministry is maintaining a very good balance. And of course, this in international relations, as has been told, whenever any head of the state comes, then Prime Minister receive. When it was in Alaska, the President Trump also received President Putin. So these are the good gestures, but definitely there is a very big personal bond between the two, as has been mentioned a number of times that in China they talk to each other for about 45 minutes in the vehicle, also in the car only. So likewise, there is a good relations. So that will be, of course, it set the tone for further proceedings of any negotiation.
Yes. Yes, we touched upon security earlier, of course, also. But Joyita, coming now to the trade deficit as well. Sources in the government tell us that there is going to be a key focus on how to bridge this. Okay, the big breaking news is that the Russian president has now landed in New Delhi. These are the first and exclusive visuals we are putting out on Newsx. Russian President Vladimir Putin has arrived at the Palam airport in Delhi. That, of course, is the aircraft that is carrying the Russian president. It has now arrived at the Palam airport in Delhi. He has just landed as we speak. Russian officials, of course, there on the tarmac as well, as you can see. But Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in a personal gesture, has also reached the Palam airport in New Delhi to receive the Russian president. The PM just reached a few minutes ago and is waiting, of course, in that lounge there, and will be welcoming the Russian president personally as soon as he disembarks from his aircraft in a few minutes from now. So big breaking news coming in. The visit has now finally officially begun. This much awaited visit of the Russian president to India for the summit, the annual summit between Russia and India, which is being hosted this time by New Delhi. That visit has now officially commenced with the arrival of the Russian president into India. Surinder Singh Lali, Vladimir Putin has landed in Delhi. This meeting, of course, will be beginning this visit, of course, will be beginning now, will be beginning with the Prime Minister welcoming Vladimir Putin with a handshake and presumably a warm embrace, a warm hug as well, on the tarmac of the Delhi airport. Then the two will go to the Prime Minister's residence at 7 Lok Kalyan Marg, not in separate vehicles, but in the same vehicle, as we saw them do in China a few weeks ago. That gesture of Vladimir Putin in China as well had won a lot of praise and had also said a lot about the camaraderie and the relationship between the two countries and the two leaders. Now, this deja vu, this ride between the two and the first informal conversation is really going to get the bond going, as we hope to, have a very productive summit tomorrow with a lot discussed, a lot hopefully agreed upon, and a lot of announcements as well. Surinder Lal.
Yeah, Uday, and this time a departure from the past is that there is a very, very large business delegation coming. And from what I have read and learned, is that it was the Indians who actually went out and spoke to the Russian, counterparts and decided who they wanted to meet. Because there is over a $60 billion trade deficit, and there is a lot of technology transfer and a lot of business that can also happen between India and Russia, which is unfortunately not happening. And I think there is a lot of more scope in, the pharmaceuticals, the agriculture, the automobile. So there is another aberration this time, is that there is a lot of business scope, which is going to be far more long-term than just the puppies and the juppies and, Russia wanting us back as the second biggest supplier of energy. So I think there is a lot of more scope in other areas just beyond what has been in the past today.
Joyita, we spoke about security and defense earlier. Let's just touch upon the trade issues as well, because a big business delegation also, of course, is accompanying the Russian president. There will be that big business summit as well tomorrow evening at Bharat Mandapam as well, that the Russian president will be attending. There is a focus on how to bridge the trade deficit, the trade gap, because there is quite a gap between the imports and exports. The big focus is on how to bridge that, how to get that, of course, down to a minimum. Also, Joyita, energy ties, people-to-people ties, a host of other issues also will be discussed between the two leaders.
Uday, when you are looking at the trade deficit part, India-Russia trade volume is only around 63 billions. Which is very, very small when you compare it to India's trade with any Western country. It's a very tiny, very minuscule trade, and in which Russia has the upper hand. I think one of the reasons primarily is because of, in fact, I was just attending a discussion on this today, and from whatever I could learn over there, it's primarily because the trade is taking place at the level of the SMEs, what we call medium and small manufacturing units. So, as a result of which, the big companies, when it comes to India, they are not really willing to get involved with trade with Russia at this point, primarily because of the sanctions problem. So, until and unless our big companies get involved, trade will be one of the least tapped and least explored area, because our companies in particular are very, very wary of getting into any serious trade relationship with any Russian company, because a whole lot of sanctions just might come on them. See what is happening with the oil thing, that Rosneft, that particular refinery. So, as a result of which, I think we have to wait it out a little more to see the trade volume increasing, because right now, unless and until there is some sort of a settlement in the Ukraine war, a whole lot of things are involved in this. The West's attempt to destroy Russia, all these things, and unless Trump is able to, I mean, it's a fact, like it or not, the West does not like it, but Trump has given Putin much more seriousness than any other Western leader has. So, that at that level also Trump is very bad for us. Trump can be good for Russia and Putin if he can bring them out of that sanctions regime they are under. So, you see, unless all these things are sorted out, unless the world is normalized to a large extent, I do not see trade volumes going up beyond some, arrangements here, arrangements there, here and there, some kind of a thing. And of course, when you are looking at the energy part of it, well, Uday, whether we like it or not, the fact is that we have to diversify, and we are diversifying. And there was a time Russia was not one of our main, when it comes to oil in particular, Russia was not our main supplier. We took advantage of the windfall price that Russia was offering. I am not certain they are even going to offer that for very long, because Russia, but given the kind of pressures that we are facing, so we will have to diversify, and we are already diversifying. But at the same time, I would say, when you are talking about people to people relations, that particular relationship, I was told, India is looked at very positively by the Russians, primarily because of the the fact that we stood up to our independent foreign policy. We did not quote unquote abandon Russia. So, that has been kind of seen as a very positive signal by the Russian public in particular. If you ask me about the Russian Indian public, let us put it this way, Indian public right now is pretty angry with Trump, very, they are furious with Trump actually. India is very, the mood on the ground is very furious. I mean, one of the reasons why so much importance is being given to Putin's visit is because of that.
Okay, Professor Veselin Popovsky, Professor, Jindal Global Law School, is also joining us now on the broadcast. Before I get you in, Professor Popovsky, yes, Surinder Lali, you have an intervention to make?
Yeah, Uday, what the Americans are not talking, and what is in the extreme backdrop, is that American financial supremacy is there, but American hegemony is up for revision. And if you do your math, Uday, the European Atlantic Alliance is only 10% of the population, while India, China, Russia, and the global south, the BRICS and SCO and the ASEAN, is the other chunk of the
Let me bring in Professor Veselin Popovsky now. He's Vice Dean, Jindal Global Law School. Professor Popovsky, in a special gesture, Prime Minister Modi has of course reached the Palam airport as well to personally welcome the Russian President to India. What do you believe will be the main issues on the table tomorrow, the main focus and outcomes of this visit?
Yes, this is the first visit in 4 years. So for that matter, it is important. Before that, there were annual meetings every December in Delhi, and Vladimir Putin was obviously every year there, but no longer after the war in Ukraine. And this is the first time, so it's a very much expectations, but I wouldn't exaggerate too much here. And the previous speaker talked about diversification of Indian imports, and that should continue. We don't know how long the war will go, and it doesn't look very promising. So India should be careful. That's my message here, because the Russian economy is not stable. It might go down. It might collapse even. So even if with the best intentions that Russia may have, India might not be satisfied with the volumes of possible Russian import. Everybody in the world accuses Putin as a war criminal, as an aggressor, as an imperialist, as a colonialist, and all these are facts.
Right.
He continues to kill civilians every day in Ukraine.
Okay, I'm seeing visuals now coming in. I'm seeing visuals now coming in of the Russian president's imminent disembarking from his aircraft. The Russian president will be disembarking any moment now. The door is just opened, of course. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi, remember, is there on the tarmac to receive him, to greet him personally. The Russian president's aircraft, which is often called the Flying Kremlin, his presidential aircraft, has landed in Delhi a few minutes ago. and now we're expecting the Russian president to disembark any moment now. Ambassador Gauri Shankar Gupta, former diplomat with us. Ambassador Gupta, these gestures mean a lot in diplomacy. The optics, of course, very clear. The fact that Prime Minister Modi has gone himself to the airport, what does that mean to you? How do you interpret this gesture? The guard of honor will be accorded as well to Vladimir Putin. The two will also share a vehicle to 7 LKM.
Yes.
Ambassador Gupta.
You see, India and Russia have traditionally very, very strong ties, and these are time-tested situations. We have actually received Russian support at very critical junctures in our foreign policy. And similarly, in the recent Ukraine-Russia war, we have helped Russia also to some extent. So this gesture by Prime Minister to receive him is very, very special gesture, and it shows the very strong relationship between our two countries. This was also seen in China recently during the SCO summit. And you would notice that in SCO, during the SCO, President Putin waited for almost 15-20 minutes in his car to take Prime Minister Modi with him for the next appointment, which was a very, very special gesture. I have not seen that kind of gesture in my diplomatic career ever. And this is, the return by the Prime Minister, that kind of gesture, and he will bring him straight to his residence where a dinner will be hosted in his honor. And I'm sure during the dinner, all the important issues will be threshed out, and then the formal meetings will follow tomorrow. Along with that, I would also like to add that our relationship with Russia is not only confined as buyer and seller. This is, has integrated with technological transfer, with joint production, and also export to third countries, like in case of BrahMos missile. So it is actually a full-fledged collaboration in technology as well as co-production, which is not the case with many other countries. And we should also remember that Russia has also been a part of economic development in our country, particularly in the initial phases when Bokaro and Bokaro steel plant was set up, and Russia has transferred technology in those days when India was, in a very poor state. So I think our relations are time-tested. Russia has also given us the support of veto in some of the cases. So all that has to be taken into account, before we analyze our relations. The Ukraine and Russia war is, I suppose, it would end shortly because the war cannot continue now for years and years. It's already...
All right, we're seeing, of course, now more visuals now coming in from the Palam airport. Red carpet welcome. Red carpet laid out, of course, for the Russian president. You can see, of course, now Indian officials have reached there close to the aircraft. Also, Russian officials present there as well. We're expecting the Russian president to disembark any moment now. Shruti Dasgupta, Prime Minister Modi himself, of course, has arrived there to receive the Russian president. A red carpet welcome being given to him, a guard of honor as well. What does this really tell us about the current Indo-Russian partnership, and does this set the stage for a very productive summit tomorrow as well, Shruti?
Well, the Indian-Russian partnership was upgraded in 2021. And that kind of lays the stage for what is happening today. And we are seeing that a red carpet welcome is there, and a larger delegation is part of the entire conversation. We see India, which is ready to talk to the world. Whoever has come has been welcomed with open arms, as long as their intentions are good. So with Russia, we've had a very long drawn partnership. This is our 23rd Russia-India annual summit that is happening. And this shows that the long partnership is continued despite the change in whoever is the prime minister or whoever is the ruling party. So this is not a single party initiative. It is a nation that depends on another, and that partnership has been built over years. Beyond this, we understand that the entire agenda is going to focus on three things: energy, defense, and diplomacy. And diplomacy is what you're seeing when this kind of gestures are extended towards from one nation's leader to another. Putin has been very, very complimentary in all the interviews that he has given to, before coming to India, he has specifically said that Modi breathes India, lives India. And that is exactly what he's showing, that he understands a man whose end goal is the benefit of his entire nation. And that is why Putin, despite there being a war in Ukraine, has still decided to come this year, because Modi made the initiative last year to end the diplomatic isolation of Russia. So Modi made his gesture, and now this is Putin's gesture of coming here and putting faith in the Indian defense system, Indian security system, and saying that he will be here, showing solidarity with India while there are sanctions, punitive sanctions on India, just because they are dealing with Russia on just on the crude oil market thing. So we know that Russia also depends on Indian trade now, because they want us to continue buying oil, and for that they will have to extend the olive branch in many other directions, which is what they're doing. They're going to help us build our technology. They want skill. They're going to be an exchange of skilled labor. They're going to open up their markets for us. I do understand that it is not going to be as expensive as we would like it to be, but something's better than nothing. It will kind of offset the setback that we faced with a hyper sanctioned nation for
Yes.
no fault of their own.
Okay. Well,